Welcome back to SwitchCorner, my name is Alex and today we're taking a look at Steel Assault on the Nintendo Switch, an old school run and gun platformer with a sci-fi style. Is it worth your cash and how does it compare to the classics? Well, hit subscribe if you love the Switch, as much as we all do here. Join our growing family and let's get started. So before we kick this off today, I just want to quickly mention visuals. This one has a fair bit of customization, including bilinear filter, CRT filter, curvature, border art and scanline. So the gameplay may change as we go throughout this video. In visuals though, I will give you a closer look at each. So story and its minimal stuff, and understandably so, but you'll find yourself here in what is a post-apocalyptic America taking on the role of Taro Takahashi. You are a one-man army on a revenge mission against a general that it seems caused mass destruction. It's very light stuff, but it does add a few nice mini opening cutscenes for each of the contained 5 chapters. I wouldn't come here for the story, but it for sure lives up to, its arcade style influences. So gameplay on this game, first off, incredibly difficult, and so it should be, but we're actually getting 4 difficulty options in here as well, and even on very easy, the game it crushed me more than a few times as I battled to overcome the contained 5 chapters. The gameplay here as well, it couldn't be more simple on the control front. This is a game all about mastering them and overcoming then impossible odds. It's as simple as movement, jump, double jump, you attack with the A button with a whip of sorts, and then you can also zipline with a tap of the Y button. This zipline, it can fire in 8 directions, so you're throwing diagonal into the mix there as well. It is though a mainly melee based game, which I did not expect, though naturally that whip, it gives you some kind of minimal range. Just occasionally as well you'll come across some sort of interactable object, like a highlight in the game is a turret moment. There's a few more, but for spoilers sake I'll be avoiding them from the video today. The game's progression though, it can be explained as completely wave-based action. Progress from left to right and expect more than a fair few enemies to come your way. What separates it from the crowd though and makes it just a little bit unique, it's gotta be that zipline though. You'll be able to connect it to parallel surfaces, and this will not only be essential for traversal, but also in combat, and the game, it will demand you leverage it. Honestly, it's new, it's unique. It took me a little while to get my head around it as I'm not used to having that sort of control in the genre, but it works really well, especially in boss moments, and these moments, they are huge, with some seriously deceptive attack patterns designed to catch you out, and also of course some serious power. A highlight for me, there was a robot that electrocutes the world around you. You need to use that zipline to not touch the floor. The controls though, they feel great, super responsive, it's simplistic, but surprisingly flexible, and then it throws in a few surprises along the way just to make sure it's mixing things up. Problems wise then, if you play this on the lowest of difficulties, it's short, it's clocking in under an hour, but that's not the point here, as we get 4 increasingly challenging difficulties to choose from, and by the time you're hitting normal or even hard, this one will be destroying you, keeping you coming back. To me though, that's kind of true for the genre, and they even throw in then an arcade mode, and that's made for the most hardcore of hardcore. Other problems then, the whip, it's fun, and occasionally it will come with attachments like electricity. I can't help but think though, maybe a few more disposable weapons along the way would have been a fun addition, maybe a very low bullet count, something like that, but they've crafted these controls perfectly. I would have loved to have seen what they could do with a little more variety. Finally, no co-op play, local or online, and that is a miss because this game couldn't be more perfect for a second player to jump in like, old school Contra and so on. Arcade run and gun is fun, but it's even better with a friend in tow, and hopefully this is something they consider in the future or maybe in a potential sequel, because that was definitely the biggest miss for me overall. But yeah, look, gameplay, if you're willing to face the challenge, old school run and gun fans, you're in for an absolute treat. So visuals, and first off, the pixel work on display here, it is absolutely stunning. It's all presented then in that old school 4:3 format, but the game is also, as I mentioned, all about options. You can turn off the CRT filter and that bilinear filter, getting an extremely clean look to the action. My preferred choice though, most of today's video, that is bilinear off. It adds a blur that I just couldn't handle, but then I kept CRT on for those classy scan lines. You can also then change the curvature, which just isn't for me, and then also that border on the left and right, it's off by default, but I thought it was a nice choice to have and I added it in immediately. Otherwise though, this is some seriously accomplished pixel work. There's a nice variety in its enemies, the animations and weapons, just top quality. The cutscenes with Near Zero story are still fantastic, especially lead hero Taro and his animations. And then the variety from chapter to chapter in level design is great stuff. No complaints from me on this one, I think it delivers exactly on what it sets out to. Audio finally, and think chunky metal riffs with that old school chiptune vibe. That's exactly what you're going to be getting here, and I loved every moment of it. Compared to the action and most genres, it's incredibly loud in the mix. The pace is through the roof, and it couldn't be more ideal for everything that is unfolding in the game. It's a soundtrack I'd listen to offline if I wanted to give myself a panic attack, but in the best possible way. Sound effects then, they are minimal, attack, jump, a few cutscenes here and there, but come here for that old school soundtrack and you will not be disappointed. So the final verdict, and I think it's fairly obvious, I'm impressed with this one. As a fan of old school run and gun experiences, I think they absolutely nailed the feeling of the gameplay, keeping things simple with a 3-button layout, but then making your enemies go beast mode. The controls just feel fantastic, the zipline is unique, and the 5 chapters, sure it can be beat quickly, but I doubt few will manage it, as they do dial things up. It looks and sounds incredible then as well, and there's a few surprise moments along the way just to kind of break up the action. That's not to say it's perfect though, a little extra weapon variety, that would have been a nice touch, and then the lack of co-op play seems like a complete oversight for a genre that's just so famous for it. There would have been nothing better than 2 players sipping all over the screen against seemingly impossible odds. It's with that in mind today though, it's a great 8 out of 10 from me. It does a lot of things right, but I also think it missed on what could have been the best way to play this action. If co-op you don't care about it, bump this up to an amazing 9 out of 10 and either download it immediately or add it to the wishlist. With that, will you be picking this one up? What do you all think about the omission of co-op local or online? Is that a miss or something you don't really care for? With that then, a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.